Hey everybody, I am Keaton. This is Kid Catholic Season 6, Episode 4. I just have to bear the lisp for a few more episodes of Kid Catholic. This lisp is really getting annoying. It'll be gone soon enough, so I just gotta roll with it while I have it. So today's episode, I have to give a fair warning. Today's episode is going to be focusing on the movie UNPLANNED, which is a true story about abortion and Planned Parenthood. So if your kids don't want or don't know about abortion, and you don't want them to know about abortion or really the details of it, then I suggest you watch this video first before letting them watch it, and you decide. So yeah, with that out of the way, if you haven't seen my last video that I made talking about abortion, I talked about the terrible, horrible Hi-Ho Kids video that came out a little while ago. I think they've deleted it by now, which is awesome. Anyway, I talked about that. I reacted to it. If you haven't seen that video, the link to that will be in the description down below. So please go ahead and check that out. And today is about a movie called UNPLANNED. And if you haven't heard of it, just a brief rundown of what it is. It is a true story of Abby Johnson, who was a Planned Parenthood clinic director, and a huge pro-choicer. She won Planned Parenthood Employee of the Year, and then she saw something that changed all of that, and she is now a huge pro-life activist. And so it's a true story of what happened, her experience, how she turned to pro-life, and it's actually really amazing. I was lucky enough to be able to go see this movie with my family. So I wanted to review it, talk to you guys about it. And if you're a parent, it's rated R, so what do you want to know? I'm going to tell you what I thought of it. So let's just dive right into it. So first off, I want to talk about how surprisingly this movie did at the box office. Because it's a pro-life movie, and media can't stand pro-life, and media is all about killing babies, they really couldn't advertise on any major TV networks. They really had a hard time advertising. Their Twitter account has been suspended. You can't follow their Twitter account. So many things have prevented this movie. Like, they got an R rating, and they didn't deserve the R rating. Like, I'll tell you, I'm not allowed to see R-rated movies. I even wasn't allowed to see a PG-13 movie until I was 13. Make sure that what we are watching is age appropriate, and she let me see this because it's not an R rating. The people who review the MPAA, who review the movies and give them the ratings, it was purely political, and they said you can remove these 3 scenes if you want to make it PG-13, and luckily they wouldn't, because those were 3 very important scenes. It's not really rated R. It deserves to be PG-13. There's hardly any language whatsoever. So yeah, just all that blocking this movie from doing well, and it still did super well. And it didn't come out in nearly as many theaters as the big ones like Dumbo or Captain Marvel, and still, in per theater ratio, it got third. It got third in per theater ratio of the weekend it came out, only behind the movie Dumbo and Us, which is absolutely incredible that it was able to do that well. So all this was blocking it, yet it still had huge success, and it was trending on Twitter without it actually trending. So the mainstream media, they have done all they can to sort of block and try to block this movie from ever existing, yet it's still making a surge, which is absolutely incredible. But what were my thoughts on the movie? It was an absolutely incredible movie. And what I loved about it is that it wasn't just like a Christian movie. It wasn't just a religious movie like God's Not Dead, even though it was made by the same people. It wasn't a political movie. It wasn't pushing anything. It was what factually happened. The actual story of Abby Johnson, what she experienced. Basically, what she saw was... this might be a spoiler, might not. I don't know whether to call it a spoiler or not, because it's a true story and you already know that she's pro-life, so it's not really a spoiler. Anyway, what happened is when she was a Planned Parenthood clinic director, she had never actually seen an abortion happening on an ultrasound until this one day she did. They needed help, and she went back there and saw the baby try to run away from the thing that kills the baby. and she saw this and she broke down crying, and she realized that what she had done, what she had been doing, was wrong, and that it was an actual baby. Now we see this, we see it on an ultrasound though. It's not like we see, there's no nudity, no relationship scenes, nothing like that. We see it on an ultrasound, and that's really as graphic as the movie gets. We don't see anything else. So it still deserves a PG-13 rating. Anyway, that's what she saw, and she realizes that what she has experienced is absolutely wrong. And a lot of times pro-lifers sort of get deemed as men who just don't want women to have a choice. And actually, first off, I'm going to start off by saying, me personally, I met more pro-life women than I have men, just for starters. But also the fact that this movie displays it not as that, it displays it as what it is. You see, for example, when there are people going into the clinic to get an abortion, young girls, you will see two sort of pro-life groups. One of them is yelling awful things at the girls and are being absolutely terrible. And the other group is the 40 Days for Life group with Sean Carney, who are actually being kind and loving toward these girls. And it sort of shows what the media see as pro-lifers versus what they really are. And so I absolutely loved how the movie was able to emphasize that, and able to emphasize that the pro-life, the 40 Days for Life, their one goal is to help these women, these girls who are having an abortion, not just to tell them no and then leave them alone, to actually help them, to actually fundamentally help them. And it's really cool because there's this fence outside the clinic, and on one side of the fence you have pro-lifers praying, 40 Days for Life, who are standing on that side of the fence praying, and then on the other side you have Abby Johnson, who's a clinic director. She tries to keep the girls from listening to the people on the other side of the fence, try to keep them away. And so it's really cool because you see Abby Johnson trying to get rid of the people, of the pro-lifers on the other side of the fence, or trying to talk to the girls, and then after she sees the ultrasound and she sees what actually is happening, she goes to the other side of the fence and she convinces one of the girls to not get an abortion, and she tells them about 40 Days for Life and how they can help. And so that's absolutely incredible, just to see her transition from I can't stand pro-lifers to I am the biggest pro-lifer. I think it really displayed that amazingly. It also did a great job of not trying to push anything, and by that I mean not trying to just simply tell pro-choicers that what they're doing is wrong and what they're doing is absolutely horrible. It's fundamentally simply a story of what factually actually happened, and I love that. The story is very hard to watch, it's very tough to watch because, I sort of know my whole life that abortions happen, but then actually seeing it through an ultrasound really puts it into a surreal sense. So yes, it's a heavy movie. It's a tough one to watch. It's definitely a tearjerker, but it's an important one. It's an important one to turn America pro-life like it should be. And again, they're trying to do everything they can to keep it out of media and keep it out of advertising. Like, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics rate it at 50%, and the audience rates it at 98% or something like that, because the critics don't want it to be a good movie. My thoughts on this movie are, yes, it's heavy, yes, it's tough to watch, but it is factually important. It doesn't try to push anything. The acting is amazing. As far as a movie goes, it has amazing arc and stuff. My family gets annoyed because I'll be watching a movie and I won't like it because of character arc or something, or style of directing or something, because I like to consider myself a movie critic. But actually, as a movie, this was very good, and not only just as a movie, but as a pro-life movie. It didn't try to push anything. It wasn't rude to these girls who were getting an abortion. It wasn't It wasn't trying to push pro-choicers down. It was simply going through Abby Johnson's story. And there is actually another sort of event that happens in the movie that, thinking that this is true, is absolutely incredible. There was a girl who went to have an abortion, and her abortion was botched, and Abby discovered it, and they had to bring her back to the back room and do all sorts of surgery on her, try to get her to not die, and she almost died, and the dad was out in the waiting room asking, what's happening, is she okay? And Abby comes out and she says, which isn't true, she says, we had another we had another patient who had an allergic reaction to a medicine, so we're backed up. And then it just sort of shows how she slowly but surely gets pulled into it. Like at first, she considers herself pro-life because her family is. Then she gets pulled into Planned Parenthood. And then she gets pulled into being against pro-lifers. And then she gets as far as to being pulled into lying to a father. And the daughter and the dad, they walked out of that clinic not knowing that she had just almost died. They gave her enough medicine to forget it. And so, like, they're still out there not knowing, like, that she almost died. And so it's just really sad to see Abby get pulled deeper and deeper into the lies. But it's amazing to see her get pulled out of it. And I feel like that can be the case for some of us, too. It starts with something small, and then it can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the sins can become bigger as it go along, and we might have to catch ourselves like, whoa, what am I doing? And Abby Johnson, after she turns to become pro-life, she really stops and realizes all that she's done, and she feels so remorseful for it. And she's like, I have helped with, I think it was like 22,000 abortions. I've been the director there when we performed that many abortions. She had herself 2 abortions, and there's this one scene in the living room where she is realizing all the stuff that she has done, all the terrible things that she has done as a Planned Parenthood director. And it's just amazing to see her sort of get pulled out of the lies that she had told for so many years and really become one of the best pro-life activists out there. Also, it exposes Planned Parenthood as, Planned Parenthood doesn't focus prominently on women's health care. It focuses prominently on abortion. You even see one of the people who's way up in Planned Parenthood, which is a true story, mind you, saying that their priority is abortion. Their priority isn't to provide women with health care. Their priority is to kill babies. And that's the reality of it. 40 Days for Life, organizations like that, Live Action, their priority is to help these women either take care of the baby or help these women get the baby up for adoption. And so I will say pro-lifers help women more than pro-choicers could ever do, and the movie displays an amazing job of doing that. Now, I really want to emphasize how bad the critics are with this. So I have some Rotten Tomato reviews here. Let's check it out. So this one is by critics, and this one is 1 star, and it says, writer and directors spend more time making their talking points than developing their characters, who exist merely to make their arguments. Their characters? This is a true story. Did you not get that? These are characters. These are real people displayed by actors. I don't understand, and no, it's not simply making their arguments, it's simply what actually happened, and Abby explaining what actually happened. So that was like, when I caught that, it's like, they don't need to develop their characters. It's not a fictional story. This one says, abortion is a serious topic. This movie is ridiculous. How? What I love about this one is that he didn't bother to explain how it was ridiculous. He just said that it was ridiculous. He didn't explain how. Just as ridiculous. You know, what if that was actually like a positive ridiculous and he meant to rate it 5 stars? Like, that movie was ridiculous! Not, that movie was ridiculous. What if that actually happened? Because there's not an exclamation point or anything. He really doesn't specify. And then there were, of course, some good critics. There aren't a ton of critic reviews on here because guess what? They don't want you to know that it exists. Anyway, yeah, the audience rating is like 98% just because the media doesn't like pro-lifers and doesn't want to push it. Like I said, Twitter has been banning it without cause. There's just all sorts of terrible things have been happening to this movie on the outside, yet it's still soaring. And so, let me tell you this, if you have not seen this movie, watch this movie. Go right now, buy your tickets in theaters, help it get more press, tell your friends, tell everyone you know about this movie because it's absolutely incredible. It exposes Planned Parenthood for what it really is. It exposes abortion for what it really is. It tells Abby Johnson's story for what it really is. It doesn't deserve an R rating. Go see this movie ASAP because it's absolutely incredible. I was lucky enough to go see it. It's a hard watch, but it's a good watch. And Abby Johnson herself said that there have been stories of people who walked into that movie pro-choice and walked out pro-life, and that's absolutely mind-bogglingly incredible. Also, just want to mention Abby Johnson became Catholic, which is absolutely amazing. Also want to mention that recently in Twitter followers, Unplanned movie official Twitter account passed Planned Parenthood in a number of followers. Anyway, go see this movie. It's an absolutely incredible movie. As a 13-year-old boy, it was very inspiring for me to go out and preach the pro-life movement. If you're a pro-choicer watching this, and I know I won't have a ton of pro-choice viewers watching this, just give the movie a chance. Go in there and give the movie a chance, okay? Because Abby Johnson was a huge pro-choicer, and then what she saw in a split second, she was the director of a clinic, and then what she saw in a split second, bam, she became a huge pro-life activist. If it can switch her mind like that, then it can switch yours too. Just give the movie a chance. Alright, go and see it, because it's absolutely incredible, and don't trust what the critics say. So now that the topic is done, do y'all know what it's time for now? It's time for
the Saint of the Week.
Now, the topic was super long, so I have to sort of make this a brief Saint of the Week. Anyway, today's Saint of the Week is Saint Gianna. She has an absolutely incredible story because when her life was in danger and she was about to have a baby, the doctors asked her, which life do you want to save, yours or the baby's? And she said the baby's, which is absolutely incredible. If you know anybody that might be contemplating an abortion, or you might be contemplating an abortion, first off, Unplanned has a way to fix that. You can text Unplanned, the movie, after the movie and the credits. It tells you something you can do to help out with that. But you can also pray through Saint Gianna for help, because she is absolutely incredible. I suggest you look more into her story, but at least unedited, it's coming up to be a 20-minute episode. So really can't spend too much time on it, but she's an absolutely incredible saint who, not only if you're contemplating an abortion, but all mothers can look to. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video. Please click the red subscribe button down below and the button next to it. That way you get notified when I come up with a new video. Most importantly, go see Unplanned, because it's absolutely incredible. Also, please share this channel and video with your friends and family. Make sure that they know about Kid Catholic. Please work. Let's all try our hardest to get the pro-life message out there. Also, please comment any saint or topic ideas that you might have. Please check out my website, kidcatholic.com. You can go out there and buy your very own Kid Catholic t-shirt. You can contact me. You can read details about me. I have a photo gallery. I have details about my speaking engagements up there. You can see the recent topics I've done. I actually have a full video up there of a talk that I recently gave at Marquette Catholic School in Tulsa, so you can go and check that out as well. Check out all three of my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links to all three of those will be in the description and in the comments below. This was Kid Catholic Season 6, Episode 4. I'll see y'all next week, and hi, Brielle!